by leading Russian universities. Let's get started. The first participant, no, I am right, it's team from Indonesia, Asira Bunaya and Fatih Atalan. You can start your presentation.
Yes, hello. Okay, I'm going to start the presentation.
Yeah.
Wait. Go ahead. Okay, can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Okay. Let me start the presentation in 3, 2, 1. Hello, good evening or good afternoon to dear honorable judges, the organizer of SITF 2023, also fellow researchers who took the time to listen our research presentation. May I introduce myself and my teammate first, before we go to the presentation. My name is Atira Bunaya from Manseblas in Indonesia and the moderator of and head of this group, and also my partner.
My name is Fatina Tala.
Next is the following title of our research, that namely, design and build the desired application as a step to reduce anxiety and depression level in adolescents. And so with that, from the title of this study, we have a background that is currently many teenagers in Indonesia feel anxiety and depression. Based on the data released by the Indonesian National Adolescent Mental Health Survey in 2022 on the UGM website, the result of this study indicate that the most common mental disorder suffered by adolescents is anxiety disorder by 3.7% and followed by major depressive disorder by
Работает оптимизация отзывов в комментариях для
the fact that
отелей.
is that teenagers need help because they feel excessively depressed and anxious, but most of them just want to keep it in and don't dare to tell others about what they are experiencing. Of the many things that have been done, it caused teenagers to want something that is intensious and does not require face-to-face contact. Adolescents prefer an application that is more efficient and practical, which caused researchers to want to create an application that is needed by adolescents who try to have feeling help after depressed and anxious. Depression and Anxiety Relief, or abbreviated as Desire, is an application that includes the activities teenagers want, such as campaign, stress relief, consultation, and friends telling psychologists. From there, the purpose of our research is made, first, for solution to the needs of teenagers who need something instant and does not require direct gaze, efficient, and practical. Second, to provide a forum for youth to share their problems. Third, to reduce levels of anxiety and depression among adolescents. And with that, the next from our background and proposed research method is formed that help produce research results. Researchers use experiment and questionnaire to obtain research data. Researchers conduct an experiment by creating an application called Desire, which means depression and anxiety relief. The researchers begin with making a framework, then making it using the Construct 2 application. And also, these are the tools and materials that we use to make the application. First, there's an application Canva to make the framework. Second, the Construct 2 to make the application. And then there's WhatsApp 2 for the consultation and Quora for the sharing place. And the next slide will be presented by my partner, Fatin Atala.
Okay, next, let me explain about the result and discussion of our research. First, to create an application, we started by creating an application framework using the Canva. After we created an application framework, we created the application using Construct 2. The features in the Desire application include the first page of the Desire applications contains an opening, which has a reaction feature. On page 2 is the home section. There are features contained in the Desire application like sharing, consultation, educations, and games. Users can choose which features they want. On page 3 is the sharing. Sharing is a section where users can share experience or questions with fellow application users. Next page is consultation. Consultation is a feature where users can consult about mental health problems they are experiencing. On this page, there are psychologists' WhatsApp number and profile, so if an application users want to consult, they can click on the icon WhatsApp. Next, education is a feature where users can learn and get information about mental health, especially about anxiety and depression. And the last feature is games. Games are feature where users can play an unknown game, so it did hope that other application users can relieve stress and problems. From the application we have met, we asked 10 respondents to fill out questionnaire about our application. The assessment of this questionnaire, such as application appearance, language aspect, content quality, and satisfactions. Next, may I briefly describe our respondent profile. The first respondent is Vera Idela. She is a child and adult clinic psychologist. The second respondent is Zakia Najia. She is a senior high school student who is currently struggling to face anxiety or depression. The third respondent is Nadira Cahyaning. She is a senior high school student that feeling fine and not really struggling at the moment. The fourth respondent is Lasha Cheryl. She is a senior high school student who is struggling with anxiety. The result of the trial gave the total score of the application appearance with 92% and the total score of language aspect as 80%. The 88%, the total score of content quality is 86%, and the total score of satisfaction is 84%. So from the fourth aspect have very good, overall is the result is 87.5%, which is the conclusion of this application is very good to use. Based on the result and discussion that I have previously described, the conclusion of our research are: first, making the design of this application can be carried out properly and in accordance with the framework that has been made by the researcher. Second, the design of this application is able to provide effectiveness and convenience for teenagers who use it. Third, the design application can provide a place for teenagers to share their problems, thereby reducing the level of anxiety and depression in adolescents.
Okay, finally, we have finished the presentation of this research. We would like to thank to the judges, the organizers, and also friends who took the time to listen our presentation. We also provide a QR code which make it easier for other people to use our application. And before that, allow me to comfy quotes by Bill Gates that is namely, I believe in innovation and that is the way you get innovation is to fund research and learn the basic fact. With more or less, I'm Atira Bunaya.
And I'm Fatina Tala.
Thank you for your attention.
Ladies, thank you very much for your presentation. Are there any questions from the jury to participants?
Hello, participants. I would like to ask you a question. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Girls, could you tell me, please, how much is going to be to implement this thing? How much? Did you calculate it?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat?
How much does it cost to implement your thing that you offer? Is it expensive or cheap? How much is it to hire people who will develop this?
I will answer the question. For this application, we don't use all an expensive stuff, and with this application, we make it more cheaper because we still use people that we know for the consultation, and because we use Construct too, and we did not we not making it to Play Store, but in the future maybe if we want to make it more expensive and more people to use our application, we will place it on Play Store.
And how much persons will include your team to implement this application?
To implement this application, we will need a lot of people that can conduct this application, because we use Construct too, and if in the future we want to make it more people to know and use this application, we will use coding and stuff like that, so that we need some professional people to help us make this application.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I have a
Maria
question.
Vladimirovna, your question?
Dear girls, thank you very much. Tell me, are there different causes of anxiety and depression of teenagers in different countries?
Не
For
слышим
example,
вас. Там включить звук нужно. Внизу нажать на микрофончик. Okay, are there any questions, more questions to participants?
Can I ask one more question, please?
Sure.
I'll wait. I'm patient.
No, it's okay. I just didn't hear you, so I decided to ask. I will wait. Thank you very much.
We saw that we have some technical problems. We're waiting
Yes,
for the question.
I
Yeah.
had my hand raised and then it disappeared. Sorry
Yeah,
about that. Thank you for your very interesting and very high quality presentation. My question is twofold. The first part, while thinking of this idea, thinking it up and preparing to develop it, were you consulting with any of your peers or with any experts in the same way you did after it was developed? And the second part of the question is, do you think, or are you confident that the pool of 10 people is sufficient to fully evaluate what you created? Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, for the first question is, before we start the application, we use as may I say, we use constructive, and we ask with some psychologists and the expert of using how to make application. And after we make the application, there's some review and a lot of things to fix. So in the respondent, we have a psychologist, a clinic kid psychologist, and she see our application and she score our application. So that is how we know that our application can be worked. And I'm sorry, can you repeat the second question? Sorry.
Do you think that questioning 10 people on the quality of the application is sufficient? Is enough?
Okay, for the quality of our respondent, we use the respondent that are feeling. There's three types of respondent that we have. First, there's psychologist. Second one, the someone who feel anxiety or depression, and the third one who doesn't feel the same way. So that's how we know that our respondent are a very good quality for our questionnaire.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I have a question. Dear girls, tell me, what's the difference between measure?
I'm sorry, but your mic been mute.
We cannot hear you.
Tatiana Yudina, we cannot hear you.
Okay. Tell me, please.
I don't know why.
Can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Tell me, please, what's the difference between anxiety and depression?
Ladies, did you hear our jury?
Yes, I can hear you. Did you ask about the difference between anxiety and depression?
Yes.
Okay.
What's the difference? Depression and anxiety.
Okay. So what we know about depression and anxiety is the anxiety is feeling of fear or dread on about things, and depression is persistent as sadness and lack of interest about something. And what we know that if we feel anxiety and depression, anxiety will reduce. If we feel anxiety, we will have a few times and we can come back to ourselves again. But if we feel depression, we can have long way to feel that depressive because it's because of our our mindset about that. First we're going to be emotionally feel sad.
Okay, thank you very much. And another question. Are there different measures in your application to reduce anxiety and to reduce depression?
Okay, for the measurement we use. I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Mhm. Are there different measures in your application to reduce anxiety and to reduce depression?
So because this application is we use this application just for reduce about anxiety and depression, and it's not an application that for uh, help them fully recover their anxiety and depression. So this application is for helping them to make to have a to help them have the easier way to get reduce that anxiety and depression. Also in this
The
application,
same method, the same methods, the same measures to reduce.
the how we measure that people feel anxiety and depression.
Okay,
That's
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
thank
Can
you.
I ask you the very last question, please?
Yeah, sure.
Do you explore any other applications similar to this one?
Of course, we search from Google, such as like Google Play Store or in website, the similar application like us, and we try to make the application more updated because some application that has only games or some only have to message with psychologists. So we try to make this application that have fully all of the things that teenagers want.
Okay, so you did navigate, right?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you.
More questions? Okay, thank you very much. And our next team are from Nepal. It's Bidhi Rakhubanshi and Asmita Sharma. Okay, you can start your presentation. We can see you.
Okay, hello everyone. A very warm good afternoon to the respected judges and our fellow participants. My name is Asmita Sharma and I have Bidhi Raghubanshi with me representing Brainy Cube organization from Nepal. Today we are here to talk on the topic selective mutism. So these are our table of content. So we as a parent or a guardians often say that our child doesn't talk, but here we will be discussing about the possible factors to it. The first may be anxiety, which may be triggered by fear of getting judged. The second may be audience, which means presence of certain individuals, a group of people that affect the child's ability to speak. And the major factor is environment, which indicates new or unfamiliar environment. So what is mutism? Mutism is
is a condition where an individual is unable to speak in almost all the situations. So now coming to the topic, selective mutism. What actually is selective mutism? Selective mutism is a childhood anxiety disorder or phobia which occurs in 1 in 140 children where an individual is unable to speak in specific situations, especially at school. So yes, children having selective mutism will be socially awkward because they will mostly be using a non-verbal form of communication, and it is also a comorbid disorder. That means it can occur with other anxiety disorders too. So now talking about the misconception, the first misconception of selective mutism is that we want to highlight is that it is not a developmental or speech disorder and not a speech impediment because it is not caused by any physical or physiological difficulty with producing speech. So people just term this condition as just an extreme shyness or refusing to talk, but it is more than that. And if remain untreated, can lead to severe depression. Now, coming towards case study, while working on this project, we came across a lot of recorded cases of selective mutism, among which we will be discussing one of the cases here. This case study is not just about an individual, but how an individual case affected the growth of other children in the school. So this case is particularly about an 8-year-old child who is studying in the 3rd grade. She's new to school district and had never spoken in school or during her previous experiences. And she used to avoid participating in any extracurricular activities. But at home, she was a very talkative child and as normal as any child would be. So before moving forward to this case study, I just want you guys to question yourself one thing. How would we feel if we were to be put on a bunch of people who were talking in just French language and we didn't even know a basic structure of a French language? We would obviously feel nervous and anxious. So the same thing happened in this case to her. She spoke many languages, but she was not familiar with English language. So yes, having a history of not talking in public places and language barrier became her problem. So she might have felt anxious or she might have been scared of getting judged or bullied. Because let's make it very clear that 1 out of every 5 Americans get bullied in their primary or high schools, which has been a major cause of depression or other social anxiety disorders. So after noticing a certain pattern in her behavior, her family started a treatment through a distance therapist during the summer of 2016. This session did not just help her outgrow her fears, but she started to feel more comfortable talking to other people. So not just this, but the school also played a very vital role here. Throughout the school year, the school used different techniques like cognitive behavioral therapy and graduated exposure, which we will be discussing in our upcoming slides. But before jumping on the treatments, let's just take a pause. Let's just see the causes and symptoms of selective mutism. Now, talking about causes, the root cause of selective mutism has not yet been determined, but also before stating the causes, I would just want to say that the causes vary from person to person, among which the first cause may be genetics, the second may be environmental factors, and the third may be social triggers like anxiety or any other thing, and the fourth may be past traumatic experience. The child may have faced any traumas in his or her childhood. And now talking about symptoms, as I stated before, they rely on non-verbal communication. And the second one is consistent failure to speak in certain situations. And if the symptoms lasted for a month, we often advise the patient to visit a therapist. Now, talking about treatment. Cognitive, there are many treatments to it, but here we will be discussing about cognitive behavioral therapy. So it is the type of psychotherapy that focuses on changing negative or unhelpful patterns of thinking and behavior based on the way we think about the situations and how we feel and behave. So the components are shown on the slide. The first component is situation. So what triggers the problem? Situation, identify the trigger points. Now let's compare it with our case study. For that, the child trigger point may be a new environment where English was a commonly used language. Now talking about thoughts, what was going on in your mind? Thoughts indicates what we make sense of the situation. The thoughts of being judged, bullied, embarrassed, as she was in a place where English was commonly spoken, but she did not had prior experiences of actually speaking English language. Now, talking about emotions, what were you feeling? So before moving to this topic, I just want to make clear, let's be clear that the feelings and emotions are two different things. Feelings is a physiological change that occurs as the result of emotion. The girl may have emotions of extreme anxiousness resulting on the feeling of heart pounding or shaking of hands. And the other is behavior. So how do you react? What you do and what you don't do. What you do and what you don't do, both are the behaviors that we do. So let's take an example. For example, if I'm very confident in public speaking, then I would not feel overwhelming at that time, and I would seek for that opportunity. But if I don't know how to speak in the public, then I would feel very overwhelming, and I would avoid that situation. And the third one is body sensations. As I said, that the body sensation indicates the feeling of shaking hands or nodding head, and many more. These are the relationship between thoughts and feelings and behaviors and how they are interrelated with each other. These are the results that we generated from the case study. So these over 2 years, these are the improvements that the students went through.
Now, now that we have discussed about the treatments of selective mutism, let's compare it with autism, as people often confuse selective mutism with autism. Children with selective mutism mostly rely on non-verbal communication, which is completely opposite to the children with autism, as they have difficulties understanding non-verbal communication. They do not understand emotions, as shown in the picture. And though all children with autism are not hyperactive, but hyperactive is one of the core symptoms of autism spectrum disorder. Some children may exhibit hyperactive behavior such as fidgeting and restlessness, and they have difficulties with attention and concentration. Similarly, children with autism create a social bubble around them when they are in ways not familiar to them. And in spaces with familiar faces around, they become hyperactive, which leads to the repetitive behavior. And this also leads to the outbursts, as shown here in the picture. Now, while selective mutism and autism are distinct conditions, they do share some similarities. Understanding these similarities can help us to create to better support individuals with these conditions and create a more inclusive and understanding environment for all. One common characteristic of selective mutism is avoiding eye contact, which can make communication even more challenging. Similarly, individuals with autism may also struggle with eye contact, often finding it overwhelming or uncomfortable. Another similarity between selective mutism and autism is limited social interaction. Children with selective mutism may struggle to join in fully and freely in social situations as they feel anxious or overwhelmed. Likewise, individuals have limited social interest or have difficulties in reciprocating. Sensory differences are also common features for both selective mutism and autism. And both selective mutism and autism can include meltdown or emotional outbursts. This behavior can occur when someone feels overwhelmed, stressed, or frustrated. Now, in order to gain a better understanding for the local knowledge and attitudes towards the selective mutism, we developed a survey using Google Forms. The results from the survey revealed that a majority of the participants were not familiar with the term selective mutism. And even those who had heard of it did not fully understand what it means. Additionally, our survey also highlighted the cultural stigma surrounding mental health in Nepal, as many respondents indicated that seeking help from a therapist or a psychologist is still considered a taboo. These findings underscored the importance of increasing awareness and education about selective mutism and mental health in general, as well as reducing the social stigma associated with seeking professional help. Also, after analyzing the results of the Google form we created for parents, we noticed that many children were experiencing difficulties with communication in a particular situation. While it is normal for children to be hesitant to speak in a new environment, we found that the children continued to struggle with communication. On the other hand, most children were found to be uncomfortable with sharing events that happened with them with their parents or guardians. These findings suggest that there may be underlying issues with social communication that needs to be addressed, particularly if the children are experiencing ongoing challenges with communication in this particular environment. This is a Google form that we created for this research, and now, talking about our future plan, our primary goal for the future is to increase awareness and understanding of selective mutism by conducting different awareness programs in various schools and workplaces. The goal is to increase knowledge about selective mutism, including its causes, its symptoms and treatments, and promote greater understanding and acceptance of individuals with the condition. Another plan for the future is to develop applications that can support individuals with selective mutism. There could be apps that help individuals practice their communication skills in a safe and supportive environment. These applications could be diagnosed with input from individuals with selective mutism and healthcare professionals, and could be customized to meet the specific needs of each individual. Now, to conclude with, selective mutism is a complex condition that has been misunderstood by many people and has been underdiagnosed. Lack of awareness of the condition and lack of in-depth research has made it challenging for healthcare professionals to accurately diagnose and treat individuals with selective mutism. There has been a lack of effective treatment options for those with selective mutism, leaving many individuals struggling to communicate and participate in daily life activities. However, there is hope for improvement in the future through continued research and collaboration. Through continued research and collaboration, understanding of this condition can be enhanced and more effective treatments should be developed to support those who are affected.
We just want to conclude by saying that selective mutism is not just extreme shyness, and it is the topic that needs to be researched in depth, because it may be something that it is not the actual, it is not like depression, but it can lead, if remain untreated, it can actually lead to depression and other disorders in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Are there any questions to our participants from the jury?
Yes. If I may, thank you very much. Very interesting, and you're absolutely right. Not too many people are fully aware of how serious this problem is. What do you consider the most innovative characteristic of your research?
I think this is the topic that needs to be really that needs to be highlighted, and we conducted surveys, and we have many data, and through this we have also known about the mental health, the thinking of our the local people out here in Nepal, and we talked to many people about it. We also talked to many psychologists and therapists from which we could gain many different perception to a single topic.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
More questions?
Mm-hmm. I have a question. I have read in your paper that you choose Frankfurt School scale of selective mutism. Why did you choose Frankfurt School? And what another scale of evaluation do you know?
So, as I said, that selective mutism is something that is not talked about. So, there has not been more diagnosis scale for selective mutism, and this was something that was available. And after our research, we could find the Frankfurt scale as most convenient till now, and in our case, the main reason of using Frankfurt scale was it. Firstly, it was something that has been like verified, and it was Frankfurt scale was invented during the conference that happened in Frankfurt, Germany. And it showed from here we could also know that how in Nepal people actually thought about selective mutism, and how it really affected the population.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask you, please, what percentage of young people under 18 years old suffer mutism in your country? Did you estimate it?
So, as I stated before, Nepal, so this is a fact that Nepal is a developing country, and in Nepal, mental health is actually not taken as a priority. And from our research, what we also came to know that many people, if they have a really narrow thinking of thought that if they visit any kind of therapist or psychologist, they are a psycho or something. So that's why there has not been a properly registered case of mutism in Nepal. And we don't actually have the data of that.
How did you come up with this idea?
So I'll not say that I am I'm diagnosed with it, but there are certain symptoms that I think it relates to this. And I was talking to my friends about these similar kind of topics, and I came to know about selective mutism. So I also don't talk in certain situations, or in a situation where I don't feel comfortable, because and I usually just nod if someone answers me, questions me, then I just prefer nodding head as an answer. So selective mutism. So I also felt, or through our research, we also found out that it is not a much talked about topic. So now, talking about depression and anxiety, it is the research has been done very vastly. But if you can also Google it in of mutism or selective mutism, I don't think you'll find a proper information as of depression, anxiety, or any other disorders. So we would actually like to highlight this topic, and that's why we chose selective mutism, so that people suffering from selective mutism could actually seek help from the professional, even through the little effort we did from our research.
So you are basing on your own experience too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
More questions from the jury? Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on to next project, to next team. This team is from Belarus. Veronika Kondryavtseva and Evgenia Zaitseva. You can start your presentation. Veronika, Evgenia, are you ready? Let's wait a little bit, because they wrote in the chat that they are already ready. Ready. Great. Okay, the project Smart Farm. You can start to present your project.
Jana. Thank you. We want to show you our university project, Smart Farm. The project idea, development of a mobile app allowing consumers to buy their own vegetable garden and manage it online. The business format is mixed online and offline. Real vegetables can be delivered to the consumer. Our project solves following problems: the need for environmentally friendly products, physical inactivity of the target audience, lack of the time the target audience to walk in their personal garden plot. Solutions: provision of services for the cultivation of environmentally friendly products, providing opportunities for physical activity on the farm site, provision of crop services in an online format. You can see a smart farm application visualization. Target audience: men and women aged 35 to 60 years, high-income population, people with a constant lack of time due to constant unemployment, people who take care of their health and are very attentive to the quality of products, innovators interested in modern technologies. You can see a market capacity. Business model includes registration, design and selection of agriculture crops, virtual seeding, payment, real sowing, cultivation of crops, harvesting, delivery. The uniqueness of the project: agribusiness through IT technologies, lack of analogies. We made SWOT analysis. Includes strengths, weakness, opportunities, threats. Strengths: remote creation of supervision of the vegetable garden, absence of competitors, product innovation, fast order processing. Weakness: lack of experience, informant image, narrow product line, few additional service. Opportunities: business and implementation through IT technologies, state support for agribusiness receiving benefits, stable economy of country, business stability. Threats: disinterested in our services, the emergence of new competitors, seasonal decline, inflationary process. Our marketing strategy: product, price, sales, promotion. Product: expanding of the range of services offered, improvement the application, increasing the number of services based on IT technologies. Price: average price strategy, avoiding a price war, discounts for regular customers, discount on pre-order. Sales: the application performs round-the-clock work on processing and monitoring all incoming orders, modernization and improvement the application interface. Promotion: teaser ads, advertising on social networks, creating a video channel, banner advertising on the internet. You can see an invested plan on the slide. Total investment includes 177,000. Financial plan. Net profit consists 3970. Performance indicators. Payback period is 3 years. We can say that our project would be effective. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much for your project. Questions for our participants? I know that you have. I can see it in your eyes.
I have a question. One of the problems of the target audience is an activity. Slide number 2. How will your project help solve the problem of physical inactivity? I can't realize.
I have the same question.
I understand. We want people in our project work in our farm ourselves. I mean, seeding and watch growing our seeds themselves.
Thank you very much. And one more question. Why were the project costs calculated in US dollars, but the revenue, the profit in Belarusian rubles?
We made it for our comfort.
Okay. Thank you.
More questions?
Girls, could you tell me, please, who are considered to be the main competitors to your farm, to your project?
Can you repeat the question?
Who are the main competitors?
Shops. Vegetable
Shops?
shops. Yeah. We made vegetables. People can buy it in ordinary shops.
Okay.
More questions?
Can I answer? Agricultural production is highly labor intensive. What types of labor intensive work can be replaced by robots?
I didn't understand the question.
I can repeat in Russian. Сельскохозяйственное производство высоко, очень трудоемко. Вот какие работы могут заменить, высоко такие, вот, знаете, трудозатратные, могут заменить роботы, например, машины.
Вы имеете в виду, чем наш проект такой особенный, если сейчас машины все заменено, да?
Yes, right.
Мы делаем уникальный проект в плане того, что люди будут смотреть сами, как растет. Это будет без машин, это будет ручной труд. Это будет совершенно другое качество у... да.
Thank you.
И это будет развлечение, помимо прочего.
Okay. Thank you very much for your presentation. Our next team is also from Belarus. It's Maria Khachaturian, Anna Belskaya, and Maria Matsuganova. With project partner Bank Online BPO. Okay, you can start your presentation.
Yes, it's mine. Glad to see you. Let's talking about our project, Partner Bank Online BPO for small and medium-sized business. Mission of our bank will become part of your team. Let's go to the next slide. Our bank solves some problems like complexity of business registration liquidation processes, difficulty is selecting suitable business codes, non-ergonomic process of tracking the cash flow on the settlement account, additional financial costs of the maintenance of full-time account. Let's talking about our target market. We divided our target market into two huge groups. Segment number one is individual businessmen, all types of economic activity, and number of staff, 1 or 3. Let's go to then our let's see it's our segment number 2. Organization and legal form of business LLC, all types of economic activity, and number of staff 2 or 50. Our bank provides some services. For example, business registration services, opening and maintain a current account, online brokerage services. For our business plan, we make SWOT analysis. Let's see at our strengths. It is 24 operation, convenient format for customers, the breadth of the range of IT services of the bank and opportunities, increasing market share, economic growth, and increased business activity, benefits for online and digital organization, the trend towards digitalization IT development. Let's see the next slide. Now I will talking about our marketing strategy. Let's talking about our product. We have some strategical plan. For example, we want to make educational courses for businessmen. Talking about price, I can say that pricing strategy will be for market introduction and place online service strategy, personal sales, 24 services. Let's talking about our promotion. We will have multi-channel advertising strategy, for example, bonus and strategy, and PR companies. Now I will talking about income plan. We have some numbers of services, we have average cost, and we understand that total cost of services without tax will be $170,050 and $500. Let's see at the next slide. Conclusion of profit and efficiency indicators of business project. We make some. We make something, and we understand that net profits consolidation for 2024 will be 10,90,30. Now we will talking about conclusion of performance indicators. Profitability on own investment will be 50%. It is normal, as you see in the boundaries of the standard. The payback period of the business will be 3 months. It is really standard, and break-even point will be 75%, and it is really standard. Let's talk about our social economical significance of the product. At the first, promote business development, increasing employment of the population, economic growth. It is very actually, as I remember, and improving the quality of life. That's all.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Are there any questions to our participants?
No questions? I don't understand.
I think I may have a question. How would you describe the social significance of your findings?
Sorry, I have some problems. We don't listen to your question. Could you repeat, please?
Sure. Thank you for your presentation. How would you describe the social aspects of your project? What is the social meaning, the social value, as we are within the workshop for social sciences?
In my presentation, I tell that it is promote business development, economic growth. I think it is social problem, and for Belarus, as I remember and as I know, improving the quality of life is so actual problem.
Okay, so it's the overall improvement of the quality of life.
Yes.
As essentially any viable business plan should do. So nothing terribly specific. Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask you a question, please? Are you making this project for a particular bank or for any bank?
We make it for any bank, and I know in our country, for example, Belgazprom Bank and others are very interested in to do something, features and other interesting things with students, and they hear us and they ask us what we want to do, and our business plan can stay a part of any other Belarusian bank.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. And the next team from Belarus is Ekaterina Zvolinska, Angelina Rylkova, Ilya Vdovin, Nikita Podres, with the project Meow Family Courses on the care and upbringing of pets under the brand Meow Family.
Dear members of the jury board, we, Katerina Zvolinska and Ilya Vdovin, are here to unveil our brand new online courses business plan related to taking care and bringing up pets. The business plan of the Meow Family brand name project was also designed by Angelina Rylkova and Nikita Podres under the supervision of Professor Galina Artyomovna Yasheva. The main idea of our project is to provide a variety of online courses which help learn the rules for taking care of your pet property, learn how to understand your pet better, create such conditions in the house that will be really comfortable for you and your pet, choose the right food for your pet. Our project solves the following problems of owners and their animals. Insufficient information about pet care, the problem of abandoning a pet, ignorance of ways, the methods of raising pets, ignorance of the symptoms of pet diseases. As a target segment, we have identified male and female grown-ups living on the territory of the Republic of Belarus and the Russian Federation, with an average and above average income. To calculate the market volume, we applied the method TAM-SAM-SOM. As a result of the SWOT analysis, we identified strengths, reliable sources of information, variety of courses, high level of speakers' proficiency, weaknesses, lack of brand awarenesses, no established customer base, opportunities, loyal legislation in relation to animals, economic growth, improving the standard of living. Threats, risk of information leakage to the public, competitors, economic downturn, and lower standard of living. The strategic plan was developed based on the results of the SWOT analysis. The action plan for the opening of courses on the care and upbringing of exotic animals includes involvement of experts in the field of ornithology, ichthyology, etc. Courses propagation, sale of courses with online consultation option. The action plan for entering the foreign market includes translation of courses into English, using social networks to promote courses, feedback analysis, improving course materials in the light of the received feedback. The mobile application will allow you to choose a training course, get an online consultation, choose a pet, choose food, and make a payment.
The design of the future pet store has been developed. Individual entrepreneurship was chosen as the organization and legal form. The organizational structure is presented on the slide. A business model has been developed. The business is designed for the B2B and B2C segment. The stage of the business project implementation is a commercial justification. Value proposition, complex approach, individual consultation. Monetization of business, income from the implementation of courses, advertising revenue. The marketing strategy includes promotion through the internet, partner program with clinics and nurseries. The competitiveness of online courses was assessed. The main competitor is animal psychology. According to the assessment, the competitiveness of our startup turned out to be 3 and 6 points, and the competitor had 2 and 6 points. The investment plan is presented on the slide. It can be noted that only our funds act as a source of financing. To launch these online courses, you will need $2,250. Operating cost per month is $1,480. Per year, $5,610. The entrepreneur's income was planned, which will amount to $8,720 per year. The return on investment was 90%, return on sales 45%. Payback period is 3 months. Thus, it's concluded that the project is effective. A risk assessment was carried out and measures to reduce them were developed, presented on the slide. The social significance of our project lies in reducing the number of stray animals, increasing the level of social responsibility among the population. The economic significance assumes creating jobs and paying taxes, reducing the burden on state nurseries by reducing the number of homeless pets.
Thank you, that's all.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Are there any questions to the authors?
I have a question. What's the uniqueness of your project? Are there such courses already in Belarus? What is the uniqueness?
Our course, it is such complex, and in Belarus, in Russia, and will you withdraw points if we answer a question in Russian?
Что скажет жюри? Хорошо, окей.
Уникальность нашего курса состоит в том, что это будет комплекс-курс, будет комплексный подход, соответственно, будет разработана система скидок для тех, кто будет приобретать несколько курсов, касающихся одного и того же животного. Цена нашего курса в белорусских рублях составляется 30 белорусских рублей, в долларах это $10. То есть это приемлемая цена, мы проводили опрос, и те владельцы питомцев или те люди, которые хотят приобрести питомца, но не готовы мириться с какими-то поведенческими особенностями, не знают, как подружиться с питомцем, как наладить комфорт в...
Спасибо, все понятно. Thank you very much. That's all.
More questions?
My cat came to hear you. So thank you very much for your presentation. And I have a question. Why should I choose you if my cat has some disease or some problem, and not to take it to vet clinic or to the professional animal helper? Почему я вас должна выбрать, а не в клинику обратиться,
Смотрите,
ребят?
в любом случае мы не заменяем услуги, которые оказывают ветеринары. Мы не заменяем. Наоборот, наши курсы могут помочь распознать симптомы болезни на раннем сроке, чтобы вы быстрее обратились к ветеринару, так как человек не всегда замечает какие-то особенности в животном, потому что не знает, как проявляется та или иная болезнь. И, соответственно, мы учим, так сказать, наладить атмосферу в доме и сделать жизнь комфортной. Этому ветеринары не обучают, они лечат.
Ну, вообще обучают, конечно. У меня 4 животных прямо сейчас рядом со мной сидит. И я вам скажу, что обучают тоже. Тем не менее, спасибо большое. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And let's move on to the next project from Belarus. It's Tatiana Terech and Tatiana Pashkevich. With the project mobile application for children of orphanages under the brand Chilkombai.
Good afternoon, dear members of the jury and listeners. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, let's get started. We present to you our mobile application for children of orphanages under the brand Chilkombai, performed by student Terech Tatiana and Pashkevich Tatiana, under the guidance of Doctor of Economics, Professor and Head of the Department of Economics Theory and Marketing, Yasheva Galina.
We have highlighted the social and economic importance of our business. Social significance includes improving the quality of life of orphans and expanding the labor market through the training and employment of orphans. The economic significance includes the creation of new jobs and increase in employment and a reduction in the burden on orphanages as a result of the adoption of children. The essence of the project is to create a mobile application with a personal account for each child. The application interface will include a hotline for psychological support of children, the presence of psychologists, and a program for additional training of pupils, and a program for adoption, the independent life of pupils.
In the first screenshot, you can see, in the first screenshot, you can see the login to the personal account for each visitor and separately for children. The second screenshot shows the news that happened in the first line, and just below the tabs, personal profiles of pupils, events, assistance to pupils, and support service. In the last screenshot, we also have questionnaires of pupils and their achievements, which they can publish themselves.
On this slide, we have displayed the following problems and ways to solve them. Insufficient percentage of adoption due to the opportunity to view the questionnaires of pupils. The formation of each child as a person, the socialization in society through round-the-clock psychological support, the creation of an educational base and employment of pupils, as well as the sponsorship of orphanages with the introduction of paid subscriptions, cooperation with state and charitable organizations.
The target audience of our application are children from orphanages, 11%, the interested population, 81%, and state and charitable organization, 8%.
We have analyzed the business model of our application. Our business will be organized in the B2B and B2C models. We have also identified the stage of implementation, the commercial justification of the business idea, the creation of a mobile application, the launch of a mobile application. Our key partners are the interested population, orphanages, state and charitable organizations. We have a 100% value proposition, a corporate social responsibility strategy. Monetization of the business comes from subscription revenue and revenue from advertising of partner organization. We have also developed a marketing strategy that includes offers via the internet. These are social networks, Wiki, Instagram, and TikTok, our own application. Print advertising is advertising on banners, booklets, and brochures. Both participation and organization in professional events, conference, and presentation for partners.
On this slide, we conducted a SWOT analysis and identified strengths and weakness, opportunities and threats. The strong ones include the uniqueness of the business product. The weak ones include distrust on the part of pupils and educators to the mobile application, an unformed image. Opportunities include the digitalization of the economy and society, the translation of communication to IT, stabilization and growth of the economy, support from the state for a socially significant project, and threats include the decline of the economy due to external threats, budget cuts of state boarding school, the emergence of competitors.
The organizational and legal form of our business looks like this. At the head of the structure is individual entrepreneur without the formation of legal entity. His working functions are working with management. And we also hire 2 employees under contract, a psychologist and a marketing economist. Our strategic plan is to ensure that in the future it's planned to develop application for other countries to financially support children from poor countries in all the world.
On this slide, we have calculated the investment plan of our business. Total own funds in the business 37%, funds from the investors 63%.
We have calculated the profit and efficiency indicators of the business project. According to calculation, we received 88% return on investment, 145% return on equity. In 1.6 months, we will recap our business and 58% break-even rate. Our business project is effective.
We would like to note that we didn't include the technical development of our application in the presentation, and they made a commercial justification. We have included the interface of our application in the presentation. When implementing our business, it will not be difficult to develop the application itself by our programmer. Thanks for attention. We are ready to listen to your questions.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Question?
Yes, may I please ask a question? Thank you. It's a very interesting topic, but I must admit I am somewhat confused having listened to you. Am I correct in understanding that your application would provide additional means of communication between children in the orphanages and the so-called interested population? What is the age of the children, if that's the case? How do you describe interested population? People who are planning to adopt or to become guardians, people who would like to help. So that's the first part of the question. The second part of the question, or question number 2 rather, what is exactly the mechanism of making money?
The same question.
Okay,
And the third, it's more like a comment. This is an extremely sensitive subject, and I hope that you have had enough opportunity to talk to different people, including experts and people who work in the orphanages, to touch upon all the subjects, as generally communicating for orphans with the outer world is, I repeat, a very complicated and a very sensitive subject. Thank you.
Okay, I understand the question. I want to say that our application will have two interfaces. One will be for orphanages and one for another people. It will be interested people and organization. What about child? With their achievements with specialists will will share their achievements in this application, and another people in another interface can watch these their achievements, and maybe it will get help to adopt a child. And what about our money? We have paid subscriptions, and for our subscriptions, another people we have bonuses, and for this bonus, people can buy some clothes for a child which they want.
Okay, but still, who is making money? And it's one thing if you are looking at additional ways of supporting children. Say a child is interested in pursuing piano lessons, and the orphanage would like to allocate time and a teacher for individual piano lessons. That's one thing. But if you are talking about adoption or guardianship, it's rather, as I said, it's a complicated issue. So, what kind of a picture are you trying to paint? Just the achievements, a child's history, the child's preferences? How is it different from what we read on websites that describe children? Because there are funds and organizations, at least in Russia, that would provide, video portraits of children.
Okay, for our application, it will be more comfortable. And what about how will we get money? We will get money for our subscription. This money from subscription will go to help to orphanages, not in our to us, not to us. And
so it's a charity project then.
Yes. Yes,
okay.
And we have another specialist from, for example, psychologists, and this psychologist will help a child because some child can't face a problem to, for example, their teachers in orphanages. And for example, some child will have problem, for example, in the head, and that our psychological support will help this child.
Okay, so you're essentially trying to supplement what typically is done by different foundations, but to also include children. And what age of children? 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 8-year-olds? What's your cutoff for age?
Our age for children can begin from 10 years old, but our specialist can post photo of little child and make for this account.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask a question, please?
Sure, Victoria.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the presentation and for the discussion too. And I had two questions, but maybe now one question I still have, because the first was exactly about the idea of business in your project, because all the things you're talking about are about charity and about philanthropic part of this project. But if we are speaking about business, so do you have some kind of service or some kind of product? Not the subscription, but what's the product and what's the profit if we are talking about a business plan? And the
Thank you for your questions. I understand this. We will be cooperate with advertising and another partners. For example, with such magazines and with shops.
Okay, the connection is not stable. Okay, thank you very much. Maybe any questions to the participant? Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. And the next next participant is from Russia, Daria Naidanova. Daria, you can start your presentation. Yes, we can see you.
We can't see you. Ой, они меня не видят?
We can see you. We can see you, can hear you. Share
И
your
не слышно?
screen.
Все, они слышат. Все.
Все, начинаю. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Naidana Darim. I am 10th grade student of Agins District Gymnasium, Transbaikal region. The subject of my paper is Russia in the emerging new world order, based on the report of the Valdai Discussion Club. On February 21st, 2023, Vladimir Putin gave an address to Federal Assembly. He said, the United States, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, began to revise the results of World War II to build an American-style world in which there is only one master. To do this, they began to destroy all the foundation of the world order, led after World War II to cross out the legation of both Yalta and Potsdam. Step by step, they begin to revise the established world order, disseminate the security and arms control system, and plan and implement a whole series of wars around the world. Your hypothesis claims that a possible way determining Russia's place in the world order could be studied based on the materials of the Valdai International Discussion Club, created to forecast key trends and processes in the world order of the 21st century and to tell the world about Russia. On the slide, you can see the hypothesis, the object of the study, and the subject of the
study. The purpose of our study to identify Russia's place and the role in the world also in the 21st century. We have set ourselves for objective. Firstly, to clarify the concept of the world order. Secondly, to examine the transformation of the world order in the 20th and 21st centuries. Thirdly, the identify the transformation of Russia's place and role in the world order at the beginning of the 21st century. Number 4, to describe Russia's current place and the role in the emerging world order. The research methods and source base are demonstrated on the slide. The novelty of research is that it has not been sufficiently suited. The analysis of the World Club reports allowed is to identify 3 pages in the position of Russia in the world order since the beginning of the 21st century. They are presented on the slide. Practical significance, the results of the study can be used in social study classes. We have studied the articles of Maria Guzikova, Dmitry Pobedash, and Viktor Ilyin. From the articles, we can see that base order, sufficiently stable, allows historically limited state of the internal system, characterized by the domination of the rulers, a conduct resigned by the majority of actors in the international arena and based on the balance of power and interest of the leading of all powers and political forces. Also, we came to the conclusion that in 20th century there were 3 systems: the Warsaw-Washington system and Yalta-Potsdam and Helsinki system, and in the unipolar system of USA and vertical hegemony. A bipolar system is taking shape and conclusion striving for multipolarity. As you can see, we studied around 30 reports and organized them into the table. The analysis of the topics of annual program reports reveals the 3 phases of Russia's position in the world. From 24 to 29, the position of searching for one's own identity. From 2010 to 2013, acquiring an independent position. From 2015 to the present, expert position, active role in the arrangement of the new world order. Analysis Vadai Club's annual program reports determine Russia as supposed country. Beginning in 2015, the position of confrontation is intensifying, referring to place of Russia. It is a pole of power, not claiming hegemony, dominates. An analysis of the text and difference of the key words of the 2 speeches of Vladimir Putin at the meeting of Valdai Club in 2013 and 2022 showed that by 2022 a confident position of Russia, broadcasting to the world its position, ideas and principles. The main idea Russia owes to the world is traditional values. If in 2013 more of Russia education to the aggravating of anti-Russian sentiment is demonstrated, openly compliment through World War II. In 2022, Russia's position is above the free experts, offering its principles and ideas to the world. This our hypothesis a possible way to determine Russia's place in the world also calls be to study the discourse of the outer inter-political science community. Thank you for attention. Ready to answer your questions.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Are there any questions to Daria?
Yes.
Dari.
Yes.
Dari.
Thank you, Daria. Two questions. What made you interested in this very global, very complicated subject? And second question, you stated in the beginning that it is not well studied. How so? Why would you say that? Aren't there many works of political scientists and historians and columnists? Isn't it being widely discussed? The evolution of the world order and the peace order and Russia's role. Thank you. So first of all, why did you become interested in such as I said, major life-defining topic? What are the sources of your personal interest?
I was interested in his Club Valdai and a modern position is Russia in the world. Could you give me a means, please?
For what? Okay, for what?
I want to know the Russian position in the world.
Okay, thank you. So this is your, shall we say, curiosity. Are you genuinely interested in history or politics or geography? Okay, well, thank you. Let's move on to the question. So is it not well studied? That was something that you said, that it's not a well researched topic. There aren't many works on this topic that you chose. Is that so? I'm happy to switch.
This topic is not studied in the global world.
Okay.
I have a question, one question. Do you think that the political aspect is the most important for new world order? Or maybe economic, maybe cultural aspects? Political aspect is the most important? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Dari. Thank you very much for your presentation. And let's move on to our next speaker. It's Valeria Yeremina from Russia. Valeria, you can start your presentation.
У нас не получается.
Second,
Just a moment, скажи. У нас почему-то презентация почему-то не показывает.
Presentation.
Сохрани. Сейчас, одну секунду. Ну вот, на почту мою выходить. Там у нас ее нет. Сейчас. У нас она не открывается.
Скажи. Вот это все эти.
У нас отмена. Сейчас. Нам нужно открыть презентацию, она почему-то не открывает. Все, поделиться. Так, все. Сейчас мы отключим.
second.
Все. Как сказать?
Can you see? Can you see the presentation?
Can you see the
Presentation.
presentation? Их не слышно вообще.
No, we can't see.
Они не видят.
Ну, там сейчас еще разочек.
Валерия, вы нас слышите?
Yes. Да.
Сейчас видно экран?
Yes, we can see your screen, but we can't see your presentation. We can see your mail.
Они видят нашу почту.
Yes.
Они видят нашу почту.
Сейчас.
Just a moment.
Okay.
Ну. Так.
Закройте вообще
У нас не получается немножечко.
You should open up your PowerPoint presentation and then share your screen.
Скриншот PowerPoint.
Open up.
Скрины?
Откройте PowerPoint свой.
Так.
PowerPoint. Открываете.
Открыли.
Потом нажать на кнопочку внизу вот этот вот компьютер. Третья слева. Share, Start Screen Sharing. Нажимаете. Выбираете окно. Там window есть. Она, по-моему, второе. Там смотрите, где у вас презентация. Нужно окно с презентацией выбрать.
Остановите показ и попробуйте заново.
Да, у нас так уже делали.
Так, на компьютере презентация.
Она у вас, да.
Вот,
все.
Отлично.
Отлично. Только слайд-шоу нажмите. Слайд-шоу сверху. On the top menu you should click slideshow. На верхнем меню слайд-шоу кликните, чтобы у вас был полный экран.
Полный экран.
Валерия, сверху меню слайд-шоу нужно нажать.
Нажали.
Вот, чтобы оно именно было на полный экран, чтобы презентация была на полный экран. Она у вас на полный экран?
Да, у нас полный экран.
Мы видим не полный еще экран. Попробуйте еще раз зайти, закончить трансляцию и заново зайти в Start Screen Sharing и выбрать окно уже с вашим экраном.
А сейчас?
Нет, не получилось.
Но если вы не против, мы с таким экраном с маленьким, если вдруг...
Давайте, что делать?
Прекратить общий доступ. Hello, my name is Yeremina Valeria. I am a 10th grade student of school number 40. I'd like to present you my research work. Its topic is study and replenishment of maps of Penza into GIS, Yandex, and Google service for the present of historical information about the cultural object of the hometown. Russia is richest monument, reflecting its milestones of its centuries-old history. Heritage forms its mentality and preserves studiation.
The preservation of cultural heritage is the basis for the further development of society, the constitutional duty of every citizen of the country. There are 10 squares, 532 streets, 38 alleyways, 391 minor streets, 2 avenues, and 3 embankments in Penza. The number of houses is thousands of times more, and it's increasing every year. We might pass by a building every day and not even think about the fact that it is an object of cultural heritage and has a unique history because not all buildings have informational commemorative plaques. The problem of preservation and population of cultural objects occupies a priority place in the development strategy of the region. I was wondering if there is any available and detailed information about historical building of Penza on of the main source of information about historical building of Penza for citizens and towers is maps. On this basis, we have set the following goals and objectives. The goal is to study the street maps of Penza for the presence of historical information about cultural heritage cities and, in the absence, to replenish information about them.
Вы переключаете, извините, переключаете слайды, мы не видим.
Да, переключаю.
У нас они не переключаются. Вот так переключаются, да.
The objective to study various sources of information and find building of Penza having historical and cultural value. To collect information about the selected building, take their photos. To conduct a survey among residents of Penza to find information about the use of maps of various services. To analyze map of Penza of various services for the presence of information about the selected object. To replenish the maps of the service with missing information. They assume that the maps of Penza of various services do not provide full historical information about objects having historical and cultural value. After studying various sources of information, a list of streets and houses of historical and cultural value was made. As a result of the research of literary and internet resource, an information collection on the choice building has been compiled. The photos of the selected building were taken. Before studying cartography resource, we conducted a survey among local residents to find information about the use of maps of various services. The survey was conducted with the help of Google Forms. The questionnaire consisted of 5 questions. 155 people took the survey. Having studied the answers to the first question, we can conclude that most of the respondents use cartography resource when searching for various buildings. Having analyzed the answers to the second question, we learned that the most popular map is Yandex.Map, and to GIS maps is equally people. Google Map and Paper Map are not so popular. The result of the third question shows which features are important when choosing a map. Reliability, ease of use, speed, if it is installed by default on the phone. With the help of the first question, we found out that the majority of respondents buy attention to information and photo when searching for a building. Having studied the answers to the fifth question, we can say that there is an interest of the local resident in the history of their region. Based on the result of the survey, we can draw the following conclusion. The majority of respondents use cartography research. The most people Yandex Map and Tugis. The survey confirms that there is an interest in the history of the city, and photo and information about buildings can be one of the ways to increase the awareness of local residents. We decided to analyze the service for presence of information about the selected object of historical and cultural value. The nether result were listed in the table. Analysis of the map results show that Yandex nor Google Maps do not have information about the selected object. In some cases, even photos of the building are missing. However, more than half of the selected objects have historical information in Turkish. A detailed study of Yandex Map did not reveal the ability to replenish the object with information. When adding information via the report an error and correct an inaccuracy service, then other will be rejected. We decided to write to the Yandex Map support service. From the received response, we found out that at the moment there is not section with a historical reference about the object in the Yandex Map application. However, as studying the opportunities of Yandex Map, we decided to create our own interactive map using the Yandex constructor. As the selected object and information were replaced on the map, but there is measured disadvantage of the development map. There is no way to add your own photos. We posted a link to the map of social networks. As studying in Google cartography service, we found that the maps does not have a section description of the object and the section of replenish information. The only way to add information about the object is to write a review with a photo etched. Tugis service has a section with information about buildings. This, with the help of the replenished information, section historical reference for the selected object were added. In the future, we are going to develop our own interactive map of LZM site of Penza, with information and photo, and is possible and an audio git section. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation and for your work. Are there any questions from the jury to our participant?
I have a question. Are you going to put a QR code somehow on the buildings to make it easier to navigate? Can you hear me?
I suppose she's disconnected. She decided that it's all.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. We have one more project for today. It's Ramazan Isaev from Russia. Ramazan, you can start your presentation. Today your project is final. If you can hear us, please start. We can't hear you. Please turn on your mic. Yes, we can hear you now.
Dear jury and all the participants of the competition, I am Ramazan Isaev, a student of grade 10 of gymnasium number 13. Our research work is devoted to the study of initial abbreviations. The aim of our work is to give structural and semantic characteristic of initial abbreviation and to analyze their functioning in press and live speech. Nowadays, the language of media, scientific, technical, and economic literature contains a large number of various kinds of abbreviation associated with the emergence of new reality, which reflect development of science, technology, and international integration processes. The pace of modern life requires the economy of linguistic means and their compression. As a form of compression, abbreviations are widely used not only in written, but also in live speech. There are many types of abbreviation, but we will focus on initial abbreviations. Due to their greater prevalence and emotional and expressive potential, in the Russian language, initial abbreviations are considered not only morphologically and phonetically, but also semantically. They may be homonymous. For example, the Russian abbreviation DNK stands for a micromolecule and a house of scientific culture. Homonyms may be partial when they coincide in pronunciation, but they have different graphic forms, or vice versa. For example, the abbreviation VUZ denotes as a higher educational institution and a military educational institution. As you can see, these abbreviations differ in their graphic forms. Lowercase and uppercase letter are used, respectively. There are also homophones. For example, AVIR, the Agency of Exhibition Information and Advertising, and AVIR, the Department of Visas and Registrations. Initial abbreviations may be homonyms of simple words, forming homocronyms. For example, Amur stands for both automatic control and regulation machine and the river Amur. Affinity or complete coincidence with an ordinary word often leads to semantic and stylistic connotations, giving rise to irony. For example, speed needs speed, AIDS doesn't sleep. The word "iced" denotes as information and communication agency for teenagers and a bird stock as well. Moreover, initial abbreviations can be included in synonymic relations. For example, the borrowed abbreviation of the mixed type COVID, coronavirus disease, is often replaced by the word coronavirus, or in general, by the abbreviation corona. At the same time, there may take place a variation in spelling in Latin and Cyrillic. In this regard, the word beach is rather interesting. According to the Wikipedia and the Kuznetsov dictionary, it originates from the English "to be on the beach." That means to be broke. Moreover, word beach have homonym that means a long whip, which can also be used in figurative meaning, someone or something that causes disaster. As we can see, abbreviation expands its semantics like the Russian words beach, bomb, shpiar. Acronyms are pronounced like ordinary words. Some of them are widespread not only in written but also in speech. Therefore, they are often perceived as ordinary simple words. For instance, the words beach, bomж, zags, lovsan, etc. Users do not think about the original meaning of the word collocation. Acronyms are used in many areas of the language. Abbreviations are widely used in the language of media, where they save broadcasting time and newspaper area. In media, abbreviation make it possible to avoid tautology by replacing long names by the words with the same meaning. In media, abbreviations replace not only names of companies and institutions, but also names of political and administrative leaders. Affinity or complete coincidence with the proper name is often an expressive evaluation means. For example, Bob, Boris Abramovich Berezovsky. Comic definitions of well-known abbreviations are widespread in articles and headings. For example, the abbreviation ЖКХ, Housing and Communal Services, is defined as Live as You Like or Housing and Criminal Services. The use of home acronyms is also an expressive means since they introduce a certain evaluation. For example, MIF is a Moscow Investment Fund. In a number of cases, words that coincide in phonetic or graphic forms may gain a new situational shade of meaning. For example, нечего навоз пенять, коль руки грязны. A bad workman always blames his tools. Another fresh example, на то оно и НАТО. That's why it is NATO. Is the title of Vitaly Tseplyev's article who published Lieutenant General Buzhinsky's answers to questions about the conditions for the use of nuclear weapon. The assonant and punning affinity of the pronoun to with the preposition NATO and the abbreviation NATO attract the reader's attention and allow to perceiving calmly the alarm material. Abbreviation formations are widely spread are widespread. They may be either neutral or may have emotional coloring, which is usually negative. For example, гаишники часов не наблюдают. The traffic cops take note of time. This is due to the use of abbreviation in well-known precedent text or phraseological units. When communicating on social networks, people often use usual phrases by abbreviation. For example, MTA, young man, their birthday, LP, best friend, etc. Young people most frequently use the abbreviation based on one word. For example, SPS, thanks, PGL, please. This indicates the expansion of abbreviation in live speech. Thus, we have given a structural and semantic characteristic of initial abbreviation, pointed out their features and varieties. Abbreviations are used in many areas of language. Abbreviations are widely used in the language of media because it can save broadcasting time and newspaper area. In newspaper, abbreviations are used as a for the purpose specified as an expressive meaning. Expressive means abbreviations and abbreviation formations are widespread in computer language. Based on our research, we can single out obvious advantages of using abbreviations. They save space in writing and time in live speech, and contribute to the language evolution by emergence of new words. Our observation show that abbreviation has become a truly popular way of word formation, which has made its way from written means to live speech. Thank you for the attention.
Could you please clarify what exactly do you offer?
Thank you for the question. I offer that we should use abbreviation less than usual words.
I also have a question, and I'm sorry that I am speaking without the video. Thank you for your presentation. Since you seem to be interested in abbreviations, can you please name when do you think there was a particular outburst or the emergence of very many abbreviations in the Russian language? Is there a time in our history which is very often described as the time of abbreviations?
The time of abbreviation was in beginning of the 19th or 19th, because there are a lot of companies came to our country, and there are and we need to use these words more shortly, for example.
Okay. You are trying to say that we need to use these words less often. What about the Soviet period? Wasn't the period after the revolution described by the widespread use of abbreviations?
Can you repeat your question? I don't.
Wouldn't you say that the Soviet history or the Soviet period in general, and especially the time after the 1917 revolutions, the February one and especially the October one, was the time when very many abbreviations came into being and were widely used? Wouldn't you say that the Soviet history is the one of abbreviations? I'm a little surprised that you mentioned the 90s.
Thank you for the question. I think that the revolution of 1917 became the beginning of using abbreviation in our speech, in our language, because there was a lot of new terms that we need to call something, and in Russian language appeared abbreviations.
Yes, that is correct. So it's not with the end of the Soviet period, but mostly with the beginning, the very emergence of the Soviet period, that abbreviations entered the Russian language in exceedingly large numbers. Thank you.
Can I ask you one more question, please? Could you tell me how are you going to reduce the usage of abbreviations? To prohibit it or somehow else?
I think, thank you for the question. I think that everyone should know how he is talking, and if everyone will control his own speech, using of abbreviation in live speech can be less.
Mm-hmm. So you just raise the awareness of this problem, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Tell me, please, what is the positive of using abbreviation? Positive benefits?
Thank you for the question. I think the benefits of using abbreviation is evolution of language when appear new words, and economy of time in writing and live speech.
Thank you.
More questions? No?
Thank you.
Ramazan, thank you very much for your presentation, for your work.
Извините, пожалуйста, у меня были технические неполадки, Я готова ответить на те вопросы, если они были.
Коллеги,
Yes, I had a question about QR codes. Are you going to put some QR codes on the buildings if it is allowed to do?
Second. Да, они работают.
Они не работают, сказали.
Кто?
Они сказали, что они работают.
Can you ask in Russia?
Вот QR-коды для упрощения навигации по улицам как-то можно разместить на зданиях каким-то определенным образом, чтобы я вот подошла, считала QR-код и всю информацию про конкретное здание получила? Такое возможно?
Да, это будет следующей задачей нашей работы.
Спасибо.
I have a question. You offer to add the service with information. But the more information, the harder to find the necessary information. Do you use a filter to find some historical, for example, information? Вы предложили дополнить ваш сервис какой-то там разной информацией. Но ведь мы понимаем, что чем больше информации мы вкладываем, тем сложнее найти то, что необходимо. Предполагаете вы, что должен быть какой-то фильтр для поиска? И этот фильтр, какие признаки этого фильтра, принципы вот этого фильтра? Может быть, по районам города, может быть, по историческим эпохам?
Да, мы задумывались, то есть у нас был определенный фильтр, мы искали эти объекты, только был центр, исторический центр нашего города. Это были дореволюционные постройки. И это были те объекты, которые были занесены в единый реестр культурного наследия города Пензы.
Thank you.
More questions? No? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Valeria, that you join us again. It was our last project for today. Thank you very much for your work. And I ask you to fill in expert card, electronic expert card, and estimate all the projects you heard today. Спасибо вам большое за
Спасибо большое.
Спасибо.
Спасибо большое. Скажите, пожалуйста, когда мы сдаем карты? И второй вопрос. У меня нет, может быть, я не получила или не нашла презентации и текстов. Хотелось бы или их посмотреть, или запись, просто прежде чем выставлять баллы.
Я пришлю тексты, презентации ребят нет, они их готовили к защите. А
понятно, текст.
Я пришлю, да.
Спасибо. И сколько у нас времени?
Ну, у меня завтра еще одна большая секция, поэтому я смотреть пока не буду. До пятницы, если заполните, будет вообще идеально.
Понятно. Хорошо, спасибо.
Еще один вопрос. Вы прислали список номинаций. Нам что с ним делать? Какие-то предложения вносить?
Это как бы, да, чтобы вы продумали, кому что можем дать, какую номинацию, потому что потом мы с вами также в онлайне встретимся и там за полчасика, я думаю, обсудим, кому какое место, кому какой диплом. Чтобы сразу у вас какие-то предложения были по выступившим. Вот.
А мы когда будем встречаться? В пятницу?
Мы с вами давайте в чате решим, потому что было удобно, потому что у всех свое расписание. Мы согласуем, и в этот день, в это время я назначу, на полчасика встретимся и быстро все тогда обговорим. Я вам пришлю с баллами информацию, соберу общую статистику, да, кто сколько поставил, и тогда посмотрим уже на результат и решим.
Спасибо.
Спасибо вам большое за работу. Да.
До свидания. Спасибо.
До свидания.
Всего доброго. Спасибо большое.